I'm Bryan Walters. I'm a dairy farmer outside Carmarthen, and I recently had a total hip replacement in Werndale Hospital, which is a BMI hospital in West Wales. The reason I had a hip replacement, I was in so much pain over the last year, and I had gone to a specialist, the same specialist that did the operation in the end, through the National Health, and it was understandable now that I needed a new hip replacement, and but the waiting list and the pain I was going through both were counteracting each other. The fact that the waiting list was so long and no evidence that I would be done soon, I made a phone call to the hospital, BMI Hospital in Werndale, and they got me the bookings made, and that was the decision really. Once I decided that I was going to pay for it rather than wait for months or even a year getting rid of the pain, the money was worth it. Well, I went on the internet to have a look at what was available locally, and I knew of Werndale as a hospital, and it had a good reputation locally. I didn't know who the surgeons that operated there, but then going through the list they had, I recognised the person who had done my first hip replacement. So I gave him a phone call the next day, and I was immediately put on his list. And having reference from my GP, a referral letter, the appointments were made pretty quickly. The things I couldn't do before the operation were, as a farmer, I had difficulty climbing into tractors. I had difficulty walking long distances, as we need to do on the farm. So driving was possible, but it was with pain. That is, road vehicles like a Land Rover or a car. But I was in constant pain, and as a dairy farmer milking cows, I found it difficult walking back and forth in the milking parlour, and especially walking steps. And of course, having previously had one hip done, I knew there was a light at the end of the tunnel if I could have a hip done. And I went through 6 months of pain, and I was looking forward to having rid of that pain. Immediately after coming out of hospital, I was completely free of pain. So long as I followed the instructions that the specialist and the doctors and the physio told me, so long as I followed those guidelines, there was no pain, and I did follow them. And for weeks I enjoyed myself on the farm, doing nothing, bossing everybody around with no pain, but an understanding that I wasn't allowed to do anything. But as gradually I built confidence to move forward and do a bit of work, just walking around, and still I'm not in any pain, and I'm recovering quite quickly, I think. And that's what the people, the public, friends are telling me. You look better, you're more upright, and you're walking faster. And I went with my brother-in-law to an agricultural show. This was 10 weeks after the operation, and somebody came to me and asked me how I was. And my brother replied before me, and he said, he's walking faster than me, and he's 15 years younger than me. I found the care at the hospital a very personal touch. It felt a very close-knit family hospital. The nurses were passionate about their care and would go out of their way to assist me in any way. And if I rang the bell for something, there'd always be somebody there and willing to help, and also very polite. And also the catering staff coming round, the head chef coming every day and checking, was the food okay? And sort of that personal touch. Everything was very homely there. And I've got to compliment the food as well. The food was spectacular. Understandably, of course, when you've had an operation, sometimes your taste buds aren't working right with all the tablets you're getting. But putting that aside, I found the food fantastic. It's only 100 out of 100 for the food. I have recommended to a lot of people already. I'm not sure how many of them have taken it up, but I would recommend it to anybody who wants any treatment done. I'm looking forward to for the next summer now, because when I had the date of October to do it, as a farmer, we tend to stay around the farmyard over the winter, and there's a lot of work on the farmland in the summer. and I was looking forward for recovering for the spring work, but I'm well recovered before that. Yeah, I'm looking forward for this next year, and I'm also looking at the alternative. If it wouldn't have been done, I would have been in a lot of pain at the moment, and that pain in any cold weather makes it worse. The money I spent going to Werndale, I did think of having a holiday in Canada, going through Calgary and the Rockies, but I'll keep that for a later date. And I think the money I've put on this hip would have been something similar to what I would have spent on that trip. But to me, the hip is far more value than a trip to Canada.